Have you been wondering why Donald Trump doesn't respect the African continent and even African leaders? Well, I don't know how extensive you have been thinking about this, but there is a video that has come up which will let you understand everything, and it will let you know how Trump thinks about the African continent and its leaders.
He's about to go now.
For some time now, it's been clear, crystal clear, when it comes to Donald Trump and his position on Africa and African leaders. Now, if you could remember, some time back, Donald Trump labeled Africa as a shithole. I know you do remember. And some of these things, sometimes when it comes into mind, you think about it and you be like, so how come the same person cannot refer to certain continents the same way that he looks down on Africa? He looks down so much on Africa that sometimes any word that comes out of his mouth, he chooses to spit it, regardless of how it is going to affect the people in that continent. In this case, let me narrow down the conversation to Africa. Now, there is a video where Donald Trump, the American president, is describing his leadership and how he sees leadership, how he gets respect, and how he chooses to just put some people behind his respect spectrum. Now, he talked and made emphasis on who his ideal leader is. He talked on his leadership skills and how he sees a real leader. And ladies and gentlemen, of these descriptions will let you know, and it will let you just get into realization how this man thinks and what exactly he thinks about the African continent and the African leaders.
Truth is plain to see. If you want freedom, take pride in your country. If you want democracy, hold on to your sovereignty. And if you want peace, love your nation. Wise leaders always put the good of their own people and their own country first. The future does not belong to globalists. The future belongs to patriots. The future belongs to sovereign and independent nations who protect their citizens, respect their neighbors, and honor the differences that make each country special and unique.
Now, if you are African and you are listening to this, how do you expect a man with this mentality to recognize you? The future does not belong to a globalist, but the future belongs to patriots. The future does not belong to people who think that they can go from places to places, people who leave their continent to go to another people or to go to different continents in search of greener pastures. The future belongs to people who believe in their continent, who believe in the people, who believe in their country regardless, and make sure that they are going to develop and improve upon the lives of their people and the country for their country to be better. Trump is saying that, you see, wise leaders always think about their people first. They place the priorities of their people first. Wise people and wise leaders think about themselves, their leaders, but in all, they think about their people first before even thinking about themselves. But what is happening in Africa? So if we are using Trump's gauge, or if we are using the Afro barometer from Trump's speech, then can we say we have a leader in Africa? Can we say that? Now, if Trump is saying that the future does not belong to globalists, then if the future belongs to patriots, how do we live as African? And how do you want such a man to respect us? Because everything that this guy is talking about, everything that Trump is talking about here, we all fall short. Every African country, as far as I know, falls short. And these are some of the few details that the Western world have over the Africans. If you give an African leader a position of power, that leader thinks that it is an avenue to milk and enrich him or herself. We had a leader in Ghana. We have Kwame Nkrumah, who stood up for Ghana, who stood up for independence. At the end of the day, Kwame Nkrumah never even built a house for himself. Kwame Nkrumah died, and as we are talking now, some of his descendants are wallowing in poverty. Some of his descendants are just living below average. Like, they are really suffering. But if we turn up, or if we turn our back to look at what is happening right now in Africa, you look at some people who were living in abject poverty, who were subjected to the well of poverty, but they got opportunity to serve in the public spaces, and now they are riding the biggest cars. They are living luxury. They are buying apartments at a place that ordinarily they were not going to get opportunity to buy houses. Some people even go to the extent of stealing from the country. Some people choose to even convert the asset of the nation into their names. And that is the kind of leaders that we have in Africa. So how do you want Trump to respect Africans? When Trump turns back and look at Africa, all he sees are the leaders. But the leaders are the reps. Now that is the more reason why there is an adage that in the land of the blind, the man with the one eye tends to be the king. So if we are all in Africa and we are seeing that, no, if we are in Ghana, if we are in Zimbabwe, we are in Malawi, we are in Cote d'Ivoire, we are in Togo, we are in Nigeria, we are in Mozambique, we are in whatever corner of Africa that you find yourself in, you feel that these are the sensible people that are supposed to rep your country. And if these people are failing you, how do you expect the person from the other side of the wall to give you recognition? Right from the word go, after choosing the leaders in Africa, the only thing that we all understand is that, look, they are going to eat. They are going to enrich themselves. And so therefore, if I am closer to those people, then I am privileged. Whereas that is not supposed to be the case. But I don't blame him. To me, honestly, after listening to Donald Trump's speech, after listening to what this man spoke, and after listening to everything that he just talked about in this short video, I can't just do anything but to agree with him. In fact, we are blessed as a continent. We are very blessed. Very, very, very blessed. But how are we living like this? How? Why is it that always we give room for people to just enrich themselves and we hold nobody accountable? They keep telling us that, you see, we are in debt, we are in this, we are in that. Yet they get some money to enrich themselves. Yet before, there are some people, they've never worked their entire life. They get into their public schools, they get into the universities, they travel, then when they get back, they just get into active and full politics. And before we realize, somebody who has never worked before, by virtue of getting into politics, the person will end up being one of the billionaires in the country, one of the millionaires in the country. And you can never talk about people who are affluent without talking about them. Can never talk about people with very much assets. Some people can even go a long way. In fact, if we are talking about how African leaders are very rich, some people can even borrow the nation money. And yet, they keep telling us that, so how can you be a leader in Africa? How can you match? How can this guy even respect you? How can the Western even regard us when our leaders don't even regard us? Some people even don't have houses in their own countries. Some people don't even take pride in owning anything in their country, but rather they take pride in buying mansions in California, buying mansions in UAEs, and you don't even think about it. Like, you think about it, you don't even understand. Truth is always bitter, and it is what it is. Until African leaders go back to the drawing board to know, say, they are ruling and they are governing on purpose. We are at a place that is very dark. Hence, we need lights for people to also regard us. Until we find ourselves, or until we choose for ourselves the right and responsible leaders, we are going to be treated as the shithole that Donald Trump labeled us some years back. Let me know what you think in the comment section. This is What's Up Today. I just felt like letting you know and understand things from Donald Trump's own point of view and perspective. And I feel like after until now, you know what exactly came into his mind for labeling Africa as the words that he used to label us. My name is Daniel Dynamic. See you in the next one. I'm out.
Family 3940 here. Guess what? You are watching Dynamic TV Plus. Keep on watching, subscribe, share, then leave your comments. One time, with love.